Do they just stop if they actually get to Tamara's house? A family staying in a secluded mobile home park for the night are visited by three masked psychopaths to test their every limit. Strangers Prey at Night is directed by Johannes Roberts and stars Christina Hendricks, Bailey Madison, and Martin Henderson. To the channel question, who would like it? It's if you like the first one, I would say it goes a little bit further. The seclusion aspect of part one is expanded. It's a lot more space that they're covering. Not people locked in a house. If you like stalk and kill movies, it certainly does that a bit more. Again, the original Strangers is a bit more of a trapped, and they're stuck in their house and they're doing quite silly things to try to get out. Whereas Strangers Prey at Night is more of a more open space. They're stuck in a trailer park. I want to say it was a trailer park. A lot of ironic, poppy 80s music plays in this movie. Like I said, if you're interested in the first one, it expands on that. Don't expect the first one. It certainly goes further. And don't get me wrong, it's not like there's not seclusion. They're in the middle of nowhere. It's just they have a little bit more space to run and or hide. And that's where it feels a bit more like a traditional horror film. There's certainly moments where you kind of say, well, wait, how are blanks supposed to cover that much space? But that's the fun in horror, I guess. Nothing groundbreaking by any stretch, but you could certainly do far worse. I would say this is an improvement over the first one, but that's my opinion. We'll save that for later. I've discovered what the true story angle is in the marketing, and I will explain that in my portion. Up next is Did I Like It? If you don't want to hear what I have to say about this film, go ahead and stop it now. Otherwise, here's a word from our sponsors.
Wild Wacky Action Bike! Wild Wacky Action Bike! The bike is hard to ride! Wild Wacky Action Bike is almost impossible to steer and to close in the dark. Gonna try to ride it all day long, but I'm gonna fail 'cause it's Wild Wacky Action Bike! Wild Wacky Action Bike comes with everything you see here.
Did I like it? Yeah, okay. Sure. Emily and I recently watched the original just 2 nights ago to prep for this, as Emily has not seen it. Shocker. And I don't know if it didn't age well or the fact that stuff like You're Next has come since Strangers kind of made it a little stale to me. There are some stupid decisions made by our protagonists in that film, which, like I said, looking back on it, what might be 10 years ago now, it just doesn't have the same effect. Listen, the sound design is still really impressive if you're watching it on a certain sound system. The knocking of the door is quite chilling, but what is that in the grand scheme of things? That's a cool effect. But no, this film is better. It's better. It's not the second best movie of the year. Me and Lee are growing further and further apart on our horror choices. Yeah, it's good. It's an improvement. There are still things that I would say need work, are a little head scratchy about some of the things that are being done to people splitting up, and it's not quite as offensive as Strangers when you're just 2 people and you're splitting up. They split up into groups, and then in moments those 2 split up, and it's just like, wait, what? I don't know. If you suspend your disbelief, this is certainly an easy time and a welcome addition to the theater right now. If you think about what's sitting out there, if you want to be scared, this is probably the best thing you got going, and I don't think there's another choice. So there's that. Yeah, if you want something scary, you're not going to be pissed. It's not Rings. It's not Bye Bye Man. That's for certain. But I'd be really shocked if after A Quiet Place comes out, or later on in October when that freight train of a franchise movie comes out, if we're even going to be talking about this by then. But that's that. Technical aspects of the film I really enjoyed. There's a stalk and kill angle to the whole movie that is quite present. I guess technically you'd say that about the first one, but the cinematography, there's a hell of a lot of voyeuristic shots with a slow zoom. I'm pretty sure it's a zoom that are really, they really give you the feeling of being that our leads are being watched, and it's done often, really often, and it's quite impressive. A lot of the shots, there's a I want to say at least 4 or 5 just straight homages, and without giving anything away, there's just a dead Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hi, here's the cap, we're tipping it to you. There's a straight Texas Chainsaw Massacre shot in that film, which is neat. There's things that happen in the pool that are quite terrifying and unfortunate. Which, I mean, in the trailers there's a pool it's lit well. It's neat. The use of color with the music that's playing, it's just all bubblegummy and ironic. But yeah, it's a well-made movie. It's well made. It's just, you know, as far as storytelling is concerned, and you know, we're in March. It's in the theater. Do you want to go watch A Wrinkle in Time? Do you want to go watch Black Panther? If you're yawning right now, then yeah, Strangers, it'll keep your time. I was happy to eat chicken during this movie. That's all I could ask for. To the true story angle. So right off the bat, The Strangers is a remake of a French film, Ils, I-L-S, which was retitled Them, for us English-speaking folk. So there's that right off the bat. It's a remake. We're looking at a sequel to a remake. But the true stories, see, they're supposed to say inspired by true events, not based on a true story, which I guess semantics. The original true story that Strangers was based on was the good old Charlie M.
Charlie M?
Charlie M?
Charlie M? You make me pop your fucking eye out of your head to protect that piece of shit! Charlie M? You dumb motherfucker!
Charlie M, the Helter Skelter book was a very strong influence. The Sharon Tate murders is a heavy influence for some of the story here. Also, there are multiple theories as to what else plays into the true story angle. Apparently, the filmmaker, when he was younger, he had neighbors that had people knock on their door asking for somebody who wasn't there. Again, that's a tiny element being mixed in. They were apparently tied to some break-ins and robberies. The number one influence was the Manson murders, the Sharon Tate murders. Helter Skelter, I think, has been referenced numerous times. There's also another theory out there that there's an actual set of murders that are quite similar to the story of Strangers that helped inspire it, but do with it what you will. The Keddie Cabin murders happened in 1981, which currently remains unsolved, so still walking around to this day. Murders took place overnight, April 11th, April 12th, 1981, in Keddie, California. Sue Sharp and her 5 kids had rented a cabin at 28 Keddie Resort, where they had stayed since the previous November. 22 feet of white cloth medical tape, which did not come from Sue's cabin, was used to bind the limbs of the bodies along with the extension cord from the television. A dull, flimsy table knife was found near the bodies, as well as a bloody hammer and a butcher knife. So, quite similar. I guess if you took all of them and put them together and still did some extra homework, because the the whole trick of them doing these things because people were home it's pretty scary a thought in itself. But more importantly, the most when it comes to true story, the main inspiration behind the filmmaker, and he's gone on to say this, is Helter Skelter, the book Helter Skelter, Charles Manson, and slightly the knocking on the door. Like these are all little tiny elements that, I mean, anytime you look at a horror movie that's based on true events, stuff like Silence of the Lambs is thinly based on Ed Gein. So, and then you look at Ed Gein's story, and then you look at somebody like Buffalo Bill, it's just like, oh, there's this one little sliver that they share together. But that's it. I looked into it. So if you've found more, or if you have more of a firm idea, by all means, comment down below. Let me know what you think or have found. Otherwise, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. And have a day.